If something's in front of you, you kill it. No hiding, no waiting. You keep going.
You're listening to 89.5 The Wave, KCFV Ferguson.
Your property now belongs to Negan.
This is Dead Air.
You're gonna feel pretty stupid when you find out.
Find out what?
The screwing with the wrong people.
That is right. We are back to Dead Air here on 89.5 The Wave, KCFV Ferguson. And I'm your host, your friendly neighborhood DJ, JazzHandss, back again from another awesome week of Walking Dead. Now, I'm going to just give my spoiler warning right now. If you haven't seen the episode yet, definitely you're going to want to check that out because this is probably one of the better setup episodes I think that we've gotten in a long time. First off, predictions, we were right. Jesus did take the group to Hilltop. So now that opens up a whole new entire world for Rick and the group, and that opens up a whole new world for us. We actually got to see another colony, another civilization in this world, and apparently there are more. And it's interesting to really see that there are other people that are kind of, surviving and, that aren't as armed as Rick and the others are. It's interesting to see that, and it's nice to see that. So it makes the world a whole lot bigger, and it kind of just, for me at least, it shows that they're not the only ones that know how to survive. So it's not just going to be every single other person's dead, and they're the only ones alive. So I like that there's small civilizations coming up. But yeah, a lot of our predictions from last week's episode were right. So joining me right now in the studio is the one, the only, Paul and Anna Mae. Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Good morning, JazzHandss. What's up?
It's a decent morning.
I think it is a beautiful morning out today.
It's
a little rainy,
but we had some trouble getting in this morning, didn't we, Paul?
Yeah, today is National Craniorectal Inverted Driver's Day.
Oh.
Yeah, so apologize for running a couple minutes late here.
Oh, you're fine. We're just getting in. Like I said, I was just talking a little bit about the predictions that we made last week and how they were right.
Dead on, man.
Yeah,
we hit Hilltop.
We hit Hilltop, and not only did we hit Hilltop, we also hit the fact that Jesus was getting that truck and trying to get the truck because Negan and his group are kind of pressuring down. So, okay, first thing I want to know from you guys, what do you think of the episode? As an overall episode, what do you guys think of it?
Overall, pretty decent episode. There was so much Rick, Rashone, canon stuff. I loved it so much. But that's beside the point. It was interesting to see Hilltop. That was a really cool new settlement that they brought in. And if you watched Talking Dead, they put a lot of work into that, and it shows that it's just perfect.
I couldn't believe that they said they built that in 3 months.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was nice.
That was like really, really cool that they built that whole city in 3 months.
Yeah.
And did you see the what was it? It was the wasn't the Fresh Buzz? It was the Inside the Dead on Talking Dead, where they talked about they brought in like a couple dozen blacksmiths to make the weapons.
Yeah.
That the Hilltop community was using.
I did not actually see that, but I know that the one guy who actually made the blacksmith thing said a blacksmith could go, like, walk in there and start working, and it functioned perfectly.
Yes, but no, they said on there, it was, the little interesting facts about the show. It said that all of the weapons that the Hilltop community had were handmade, and that was to show that they were truly self-reliant. And then the second little thing said that they brought a large group of blacksmiths in to make the weapons for them, so that they were authentically what you could have expected from a community like that, with a little blacksmith shop and somebody who knew a little bit about what they were doing.
Yep.
Okay, that's
so it's
nice.
actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the fine attention to details that I think definitely made the episode.
Again, that's the hallmark of The Walking Dead.
Exactly.
Very
so,
true.
Okay, we got to kind of talk about this now. We have to talk about this because I think it's one of the biggest moments in the entire episode. And I don't know, I'm jaded on it. I think I'm jaded on it. What do you guys think about Rick and the group actually saying, okay, we're going to go kill Negan. We're going to go take care of his men to open up trades with you guys. What do you think about that? Because I'm kind of jaded on that, but I want to hear your guys' opinion.
My first thought was smart move. I think it's going to come back to
bite him in
the behind, but
quite literally.
Yeah, but I think it's a smart move on Rick's part. Number one, like he showed in the extended, next week scene, they'll have the element of surprise. They've got somebody who knows what Sanctuary looks like on the inside. They know approximately how many men Negan has.
Give or take.
What'd they say, about 200, 250, I think?
They said that the most that somebody saw in a group was 200. Or
20.
Was 20 in a party.
And then, but they don't know. I think the numbers are fluctuating in and out.
Yeah. But realistically, coming from Rick's standpoint and not knowing who Negan is, and because Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham, okay, it helps that they had a rocket launcher, were able to take out one of Negan's little raiding parties.
Yeah.
And they know the type of person that Negan is. I think they are absolutely right. They have to go after Negan before he decides, Alexandria, huh? That'd be a nice place to take over. Hey, you give us half of everything you guys make, we're good. Or you know what? I kind of like where you're at better than where I'm at. Why don't y'all just move out and I'll take this.
Basically.
And so I really think that's the only course of action for Rick's group at this time. I don't think it's going to end up being a smart one. I think it's going to cost them dearly, including possibly one longtime cast member.
And I want to talk a little bit about that because of the way it's setting up, because me and my brother have talked about this extensively.
And your brother has, like, some sort of precognitive powers.
Yeah, he pretty much called the Jesse death.
Yeah.
He called that, and he called a couple other stuff, but he goes with what's most logical, and right now we think that death's coming up, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And
okay.
So, but the one problem that I kind of really have with them going after Negan's group, the Saviors, is we've had before Rick and the group always kind of defending themselves, and it's always been about survival to where if they have to fight, like if they're in war with the governor or something like that, they'll do that, and they'll go off and try to kill people that have already tried to kill them. This is the first time, really, in the Walking Dead history that they've been like, we don't know this guy, but we're going to go kill him and his men.
Well, they're doing it for survival. They're doing it so that Hilltop will trust them and that they can trade. So it's still for their survival.
Not only that, but it is sort of for defense, just not their own personal defense yet. True. They came in and they saw what Negan was willing to do to the leader, finger quotes on that, of the Hilltop community. Hey, what do I have to do to get my man back? I have to do this, and stabs basically it's like, if I don't bring Negan your head,
the other guy's going to die.
He's dead. And so, they kind of see that this guy is not somebody who plays around.
Yeah, and see, it's kind of what I was talking about off air last week in the car, where what I view Negan as is he's very much manipulative, and he'll use whatever he can to manipulate you. He'll play on your weaknesses. And from what I know from Negan in the comics, that's where I'm kind of excited and interested in seeing where Negan goes, because as of right now, for me personally, I think it's very, very cocky of Rick's group to be like, okay, we're going to go kill this guy. We've dealt with people like him before, and I
agree.
I'm kind of excited really to see Rick and his group being like, we're not as tough as we thought. That's going to be kind of interesting, because I'm not saying that Rick and the group isn't tough. Don't get me wrong. They're tough.
But they're counting on their victories from the past to get them through this one, and they're going to see that that's not the case in this current situation.
Exactly.
Not only that, but they may end up finding out that they are completely outgunned. Mm-hmm. We don't know what kind of weaponry Negan has. I know all of his men were carrying either automatic rifles or semi-automatic pistols.
Yeah, and probably whatever Hilltop had, they have now, because all of their ammo is gone, and they have to resort to spears, which, I'm sorry, spear versus gunfight, gun's going to win.
Yeah, I thought it was funny when they're like, hey, you guys drop your weapons, and they're sitting there pointing spears at them from 20 feet in the air. And it's like, They've all got automatic weapons. You realize you guys could be picked off before you even drew those back to throw them?
Pretty much.
And at that point, you have one shot. If you don't kill the guy who's about to shoot you...
They've got your weapon now.
They have your weapon, and they can still shoot at you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that could be debatable because not everybody's a trained armsman in the apocalypse. Not everybody knows how to wield a gun. I mean, look, we have 2 towns that essentially have not run into any walkers and aren't really big fighters, Alexandria and Hilltop.
True.
Jesus said, we don't have fighters.
Yeah.
We have farmers, we have healers. We don't have fighters. So, in that aspect, yeah, I think it could be debatable.
And that was one of the things, and I'm sure we'll touch on this a little bit later, but I loved about Gregory's little deal-making thing with Natalie.
Yep.
You know, oh, you really aren't in a position to trade much anything. You don't have anything we need, and we've got everything. And then all of a sudden, tables are turned, and it's like, oh, yeah, we got something you need more than food or anything else you've got.
Yeah.
And
so that's kind of where... That kind of where, like, I'm running in maybe to the little bit of the problem with Rick really opening up almost full-out war on Negan, or saying that he would kill him, because they're turning into mercenaries, essentially, more so than survivors. Yeah. And then it kind of becomes, and I bet you $1 million that, like, oh my gosh, I forgot his name.
What's he look like?
Which one?
Morgan.
How'd you forget Morgan?
Morgan's not going to be happy about this.
No, and I bet Morgan's going to touch on the things that I'm talking about they're becoming killers and what's right, what's wrong.
Morgan,
Yeah.
I think Morgan, Gabriel, and oddly enough, from the extended trailer, I think Carol's going to be against it.
I think so, too. I think
I
Carol
agree.
does what she needs to survive.
I think that's why Carol's going to say, you know, Rick, I think this is a bad idea. We don't know anything about this guy. He hasn't done anything to us. Why should we be helping this other colony? Let's just stay here, and you know what? When they come for us, we'll be ready for them.
Yeah.
So, but one thing, too, that I definitely do want to kind of talk about, which, using the comic books as kind of like the prediction point, definitely somebody's going to die right off the bat from Negan. Now, if it is Glenn, because Glenn in the comic books dies from Negan's hands.
Yep.
If it is Glenn, I think, especially because of what we saw with this episode, that's going to take a toll on Maggie.
Oh, yes, it is.
Maggie changed a lot in this episode, but if Glenn dies, especially because she said it's going to cost us something, and everything that went on in this episode and how she pretty much said, yeah, we'll kill Negan. We'll go kill Negan. That's no problem. It's whatever. You know, he's nobody.
We've dealt with people like him before.
Exactly. I think Glenn's death is going to mean more, and that's what my brother was talking about, where it looks like more and more throughout this entire season. Glenn has been the one. Glenn has, I think, had the most episodes about him this season besides Rick and them.
Yeah.
And so I think it's coming to a head, and I think we're going to get the full resolution, because Glenn right now as a character, can you see him getting any better character development-wise?
No, and Glenn's already had his fat pulled out of the fire once.
Yeah.
And I think that in the first half of the season was a bit of the tease of, okay, we're going to tell you he's dead, and now he's not. And then we're going to kill him next half.
Yeah.
It's going to pull at your heartstrings, and you're going to think, oh, okay, he's safe for the season.
He's safe.
And that's when I really think Negan's going to come and say, your luck has run out. And it's going to be, because Negan loves the
cruel
the quips.
Yeah.
I like that about him.
You know, the other thing is, the other person that people are speculating that it could be meeting his end at the end of Lucille is Daryl Dixon. I don't know how I feel about that. A lot of people have said that they're probably going to kill Daryl instead of Glenn, because Daryl was not a comic character. And Daryl seems to be the ride in at the last minute and save everything And he hasn't, if you've noticed, he hasn't been getting a whole lot of story time. And they could be prepping us for a world without Daryl. Now, I have my own reasons why I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly merchandising, to paraphrase the great yogurt from Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Everything Walking Dead has Daryl Dixon's picture on it.
True.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to sell as well with zombie Norman Reedus on it as it is, or
well,
mashed up pudding Norman Reedus.
Yeah, it might
as it would with
Well, there is one other person that I've heard speculated that's going to get the bat to the head.
Which one?
Abraham.
Abraham would be interesting, especially because of what's going on with
in
him.
this episode.
And we're going to be talking about him a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he has a lot to go into. But I had to talk a little bit about the Saviors first, and if this is a good idea, if it's not a good idea. And I clearly think it's not. And I think it's turning the group into, like I've said, they're turning into mercenaries more so than survivors. And I really think this is going to backfire on them full-heartedly.
It'll backfire, all right.
I agree that it's going to backfire. If it wasn't for the fact that they started off saying, we'll trade you for taking care of your Negan problem, and then ended up saying half of everything.
Yep.
That's where I kind of felt like they went off the rails. I'm like, okay, you know what? Fair trade is fair trade, but half of everything. And I realized they justified it by, well, you would have been given half of it to Negan anyway. You might as well give half of it to us. We get rid of Negan for you, and then we can start trading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think it definitely, I think it's the tone of how everything was, because they only really met, Jesus, who, within this episode, I love him now. Like, he's one of my favorite characters, but you meet him, and then you have
Gregory,
who's a jerk.
Well, the Doctor.
The Doctor was cool.
The Doctor was cool. The people that they saved in that building, they were very nice folks. But
Gregory's a jerk.
Gregory, and that's where I think something's going to definitely come into play. And honestly, we're going to be taking a break here real soon, because we have a lot to go over.
So much.
This episode was one of the biggest episodes, I think, setup wise, because last episode was a setup episode, and this episode's kind of a setup episode too. But a lot has also happened, so we're going to be taking a quick break here on 89.5 The Wave, and we'll be back to Dead Air here in a little bit. Stay tuned.
Today's your lucky day, fellas. You've been pardoned by the state of Georgia. You're free to go.
That is right. We are back here for the one, the only Dead Air here on 89.5 The Wave. I'm your host, your friendly neighborhood DJ, JazzHandss, joined with the one, the only Anime and Paul, talking about last Sunday's epic Walking Dead episode. So we talked a little bit about the Saviors, because we had to get that out there. I think it's kind of stupid for them to go in guns a-blazing, but you guys think it's a good idea?
No. I think we all agree it's stupid.
Yeah.
But from Rick's standpoint,
it's a
good idea.
Yeah, good idea.
Strike them first before they even know you exist is a great idea.
Yeah.
I think it's really stupid because we all know what Negan can do.
Yeah.
Rick doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So now we got to talk a little bit about the man of the hour. Pretty much the uncle that says whatever is on his mind at Thanksgiving, and you love him for it. We got to talk a little bit about Abraham, because this was a heavily influenced Abraham episode.
He had the best lines this episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was... I want a dictionary.
Buglies.
I want a dictionary of just possible Abraham sayings, because he's
Abrahamisms.
They should come out with a book of just stupid stuff that Abraham has said that is funny.
What, the Abranomicon or something?
Yeah,
like that?
The Abranomicon.
So, but
the Gingernomicon.
The Gingernomicon.
No,
yes. But okay, so he's gone through a lot this episode, and what do you guys think about him? What do you think's going on with him?
He is definitely torn between his obviously love for Rosita and love for Sasha. And speaking of Sasha, I think she's a little I think she sees what a stupid move it was to kind of egg him on and kind of encourage him, because she's like at the beginning of the episode, it's like, oh yeah, Abraham going, I'm going to see you tomorrow. You know, we'll have our shift together. Yeah, no, I'm going somewhere else. I got a different shift. Eugene's going to be with you, so that's good.
But she seemed bummed about it. She didn't seem super happy or like, okay, I'm finally kind of getting... She seemed a little bit disappointed in it, too.
We got the different...
I got a different vibe. I got the whole, so Eugene's going to be going out with you tomorrow, and I'm going to go up on the wall and do that.
Yeah.
Because, it's sort of that whole awkward... I don't really want to tell you I don't want to hang out with you, and, because I totally, want to hang out with you, but maybe we've just been spending a little too much time together, and that was the vibe I got from Sasha's little... Yeah, no, you'll have Eugene, so that's good, but, I'm up on the wall, because I don't really want to tell you I don't want to be around.
Yeah, see, my vibe was totally different to the point where I really felt that she was a little bit disappointed that, like, Rick or somebody or Eugene was just like, hey, I want to do this. And Rosita kind of talked her into it, and I could see because Rosita said something and because she knows the situation that Abraham's in and that she's in and of itself, she'll be a lot more like, yeah, I backed out, I allowed that to kind of happen, and it stinks, I think, because it seems like when they were walking through and talking, she wasn't not having a good time.
No, I agree.
She was having a very fun time. I just think that the situation kind of took itself, and in order to not make things look weird, because she knows the situation that they are in, she just said, yeah, okay.
See, no, okay, the main reason I came to, especially after Sasha said what she did and the way she said it was what kind of tipped me off. But then when it showed Abraham and Rosita laying together, and Rosita had made him the little necklace out of the brake light.
Yeah.
And, you look, your neck looked a little bare. It needs something around it. That was one of those that it was like, okay, I think this is, Sasha says we're done, so I can move on to Rosita again.
Yeah.
That was the impression I got was, okay, Sasha's ditched me, so... Well,
he's still thinking about her, because it's like when they were having their little, which one do we want to use? We already used the bumpin' one. Bizquick one?
Well, they weren't really mixing Bix. Maybe
a little bit.
Yeah. They were waiting for the oven to cool off. That's what
we'll go with that. Okay.
He did say that anytime he goes out in the rain, he wears galoshes and he doubles up on them.
But he was still thinking about Sasha, and I thought that was kind of like a not like cruel irony, but it's just like we're seeing all these flashes of Sasha, and then all of a sudden we see Rosita. It's like, oh, okay, that's a little awkward.
See, now the one thing that I do have to say that I like about kind of this whole little love triangle, or how Abraham can't decide, is that it's not like he was kind of like Shane or somebody where he sees what he wants and he goes and he cheats on her. Like it's clear to see that he's actually having a real problem with this. Hey, there's Rosita who's been here forever. She loves me, and I essentially do love her in a sense. But I also am starting to get feelings for Sasha. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, you would think, kind of because of like the jarhead that he kind of is, just going, I want both, or, I'm going to do what I want. He's kind of conflicted about it, and that's what I like. And even when he, she even moves, and if you guys are, right about that, and he's like, okay, well, it's time to move on, he can't let her go in that sense. And so I do like that kind of characteristic about it, where it's not like this, he's, cheating, or he's something like that. He's conflicted.
Yeah. And I was talking to someone yesterday about when the fight broke out in Hilltop. Yeah. And the guy was on Abraham and strangling him, and he started to fight back, and then he just kind of stopped and grinned, like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that was me you were talking to, Paul.
And I couldn't remember if it was you or if it was Drew. Not that it's easy to confuse the two of you.
I would hope not. Hey! I'm pretty sure.
You guys both like The Walking Dead and zombies and stuff. So.
Yeah, but I think our voices are very different.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
But it did for a minute. It looked like he'd just kind of given up and said, well, you know what?
If I die here, it's not my decision.
Yeah, at that point, I'm setting both of them free. I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah, and see, that's what I kind of wanted to talk about, too, because do you think he has a secret death wish, or do you think, and I hate to do this, but do you think that the war with the Saviors might snap him out of whatever's, going on with him, because now I'm a fighter that now has a fight to fight?
Abraham has always been one who needs a mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, this will snap him out of it. I think this will be his new mission. And I think it's going to kill him.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I think Abraham's going to be one of the casualties of this.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think that he needs some sort of action to snap him out of it. And really, kicking the snot out of the
Saviors?
What are we calling the hilltop people?
Toppers?
No, let's not go that route.
I guess
the hill people.
No,
they're the king of the hills.
So. No,
the kings of the hill. I like that
no.
one.
So the kings of the hill. So Gregory thinks he's king of the hill.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
But I don't think he saw that as enough of a challenge. Negan's people. He's going to be like, okay, listen, I got tactical knowledge. This is what we need to do. And Rick's going to... I think Rick will defer to him as far as, okay, because we're assaulting a compound now.
Yeah.
Rick knows law enforcement. He knows, like getting into a house and how to cover corners and how to cover each other. Rick has not been in an all-out assault. Well, he has, but...
Yeah.
That was not his training prior to the apocalypse. That was Abraham's.
Yeah.
Abraham was a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Rick is probably going to defer to Abraham and say, okay, come on, man, let's come up with some tactical stuff. Let's figure out how we're going to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think Abraham is going to be an integral part of the initial assault, and I think at some point it's going to kill him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's going to be interesting to see where his character goes. So, next kind of little part that I want to definitely talk about is Maggie. She had a lot to do in this episode, more so than I initially thought. And she kind of took a turnaround more so than, ever. Because this kind of came out of nowhere, I feel.
No, I think Deanna was grooming her, number one.
Yeah, she was.
Not about the negotiation,
no,
but about how rough she became a negotiator.
Well, she knew she couldn't, be kind because the jerk-off was trying to hit on her. So it's like, okay, I can't be my normal kind self. Fine, I'll show my countryside and be tough.
And there's one thing I do want to mention about Gregory, and I know you and I talked about this a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
Did you catch when Gregory said to Maggie, you'd be wonderful to have in our gene pool?
I did not catch that, no.
Yeah. At one point, he's talking to her, and, he's calling her honey and sweetie and all this, and he's like, pretty gal like you'd be great to have in the gene pool up here. I'm wondering if maybe there's not a little bit of...
just say it.
I don't really want to say abuse going on, but it's abuse. I'm wondering if they're not trying to find fertile females and basically use them almost as can't think of a better term for it, breeding facilities to increase the population of Hilltop.
I don't know about that. You can kind of go both ways because
I don't know, but I'm ambiguous about what the way he said it is what kind of picks at me. I'm like, you don't just say you'd be a great addition to the gene pool. You say, hey, I think somebody with your talents would be great to have around here
or in our community.
You'd be a great addition to our gene pool.
Do you think maybe it's because Do you think maybe it's because that has to do something with the saviors, maybe taking all the other women, or...
Well, there were women in evidence there. I mean, one of them decked Rick.
Yeah.
Well,
got planted for it.
She
but
also
decked
came
Rick.
back. There was
She
one
got
on top of
Michonne.
the tower. There was one that was cleaning. There were a couple of them around there.
Yeah. I don't think Negan's taken all the women. I think he may have taken some. But I'm just wondering if that may not be the case for the remaining ladies that are left at Hilltop. And if that is the case, I can see Maggie having a not-so-positive reaction to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, like, what's going to happen.
But,
you know.
I mean, dude, she was totally ruthless.
Yep.
Talking to Gregory, especially after his little, you guys have nothing with which to trade, so we're in a position of power, and I have leverage.
And then he gets stabbed, and then Maggie shows him who's boss.
Well, he gets stabbed, and then they realize that there's nobody who knows how to fight and how to effectively work as a team to take someone down. And Rick's group, by the way, again, Rick Grimes with the great lines. What?
That was beautiful. I love
Covered
that
in
moment.
blood.
He's just, stabbed this guy who's on him and, trying to beat the crap out of him.
Trying.
And has a knife to his throat. And somehow comes up with his own knife, plants it in the guy's throat. He's covered in his blood. He stands up. He looks around, and everybody's just like, and he just, what?
Rick needs to stop wearing that coat, because that was the same coat from Terminus. That's his war coat.
Yeah.
Whenever he wears that, you need to stay back because it's going to get bloody.
I did not notice that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that the costuming department is hoping we don't pick up on.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Just look around. Uh-oh, Rick's got the coat on. Somebody's losing it tonight.
Maybe.
Yep.
Who knows? So, okay. I want to definitely talk a little bit about, and this is going to be a question for you, Paul.
Okay.
Do you think that maybe there's a little bit of a friendship growing between Daryl and not Denise? Denise.
I really do. I think Denise is kind of reaching out to Daryl because I think Denise has been kind of a loner for most of her time there. Because if you remember when she first came in and she's like, I was a doctor, but, I quit medical school to become a psychologist. I can help you if you're feeling depressed, but I can't do this. She kind of seems to have set herself off by herself. And part of the reasoning may have been revealed when her and Tara shared their tender moment. But I really, really think she sees not necessarily a partner, not a romantic interest, but definitely a kindred spirit with Daryl in that he doesn't really fit in either.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she keeps trying to, hey, look, you could fit in with the outcasts. Here, have an oatmeal blob of high protein, and it, looks like somebody went poo in a bag, but it'll keep you, give you the energy you need if you get into anything out there. You can eat this, and it's got protein, it's got carbohydrates, it'll keep you going. She's not just doing that, she doesn't really do that for anybody else when they go out on runs. So I think that that's her way of trying to make peace with Daryl and say, listen, we're not so different, you and I. We're both kind of outcasts, and I want you to open up to me, and I want us to be a little bit closer as friends because we're both kind of outsiders.
Okay. All right. So, Anna, I got a question for you now.
All right.
Okay, so what do you think the significance it was for Carl to actually stay back and not go on the run with Rick and the others?
Like he mentioned sort of mentioned in the episodes, like, I want to be here in case there's an attack. It's like, just because he was kind of saying, not really saying, but saying more to himself that just because I lost an eye doesn't mean I still can't protect this place. I can't just go with you guys and expect you guys, to have to defend me. I don't want to be baggage. I can show that I can still protect this place. I can protect my sister. I can protect everybody, even if I've lost an eye.
Okay.
So, I think it might have been more for himself, but it might have also been him wanting to show to Rick that I'm not handicapped. I'm still me, and I can still fight.
But, I mean...
I was going to say, I liked his little quip about, besides, I think they're going to want a kid with a mangled face to show up.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention that.
I think there is some self kind of doubt going with Carl now, because...
That's where I wanted to go with that, is I think he's got a little bit of doubt.
Yeah.
And especially since he was one of the ones that was trying to show Ron how to shoot, and to have Ron turn that badly... I mean, let's face it, Ron was intending to shoot Rick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was.
And if it wasn't for Michonne, he would have shot Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michonne stabbed him, and the bullet went wide and ended up taking out Carl's eye.
Yep.
So the kid that he was trying to save and get ready for the apocalypse, despite having problems, ended up putting his eye out. I think Carl's having a little bit of issues with that.
Yeah.
Not just being deformed and having only one eye, but the fact that it was Ron that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that.
I definitely agree with that. I think it's just kind of it's very weird for especially Carl of how he is about how jumping the fence and walking around, and he loves to be in the center, in the action, and now he's just kind of taking a step back, and he's very much...
one thing that they've shown a lot more since that mid-season premiere, have you noticed they've focused a lot on Carl spending time with Judith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showing her, hey, that's the North Star, and it shows Carl carrying Judith around, and
it's photo.
And it's almost like, okay, I'm going to take care of Judith because I don't trust anybody else, maybe with the exception of Carol, to take care of Judith because I can teach her how to kill.
Yeah. I don't know who it was. I don't remember where I heard it, but maybe it was something with Yvette. I don't know. It was a female, I know that. But saying that that they don't want anybody but Rick, Michonne, or Carl to hold Judith. It's like, keep her in the family. If anybody else is all, I don't trust you holding the baby.
I think that was on Talking Dead this week.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who said it. Like I said, maybe it was...
I think that was Maggie.
Yeah, but it wasn't Lauren
Cohen.
Yeah, I was like...
Cohen, who I absolutely love. She's awesome.
She's awesome. I love her.
Oh, by the way...
But he'll let Gabriel hold her.
A little bit, yeah. But
they did, but it's just like, no, go.
By the way, there was an idea being kicked around the studio for Talking Dead, and AMC's Talking Dead, if you are listening. Please implement this. We need an Yvette Nicole Brown cam. You just need to have a camera on her living room and pick like the Yvette Nicole Brown moment of the episode.
Yeah.
The one where she just flips out the most during each episode and show that. You've already got like the tweets and the fresh buzz and all this other stuff and blah, 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 in memoriams and all this stuff. Just have the Yvette Nicole Brown moment of the week.
Yeah.
And just show her with her little notepad. Oh, no, they are not oh, my God, they're not doing that.
That would be awesome.
Boom, cut. Okay, that was our Yvette Nicole Brown. Yeah, please do that. Please.
That would be amazing.
Please. That was so awesome last
week.
When they showed the Rashone watching her with her little notepad, and she's like, yeah, woo, yeah.
That was awesome.
It was great. It was wonderful watching that.
It was fantastic. So we're almost out of time now.
Aww.
Which stinks. But I want predictions. What do you guys think? Because we were right about our last predictions. We were dead set on about Hilltop and Negan's group and everything. So what do you guys think is going to happen next episode?
Well, they're getting their troops ready in the church, and I think they're going to start they're probably going to get a little more they'll get their provisions ready. They'll get Jesus and whoever else came with them. I think it was the doctor came with them too, or
I don't remember if the doctor came back.
But they'll get the people who know how to get to
I think it was just that one guy in Jesus.
Yeah, I think it was the guy who Daryl took his arm and twisted it that was choking out Abraham.
Yeah. But they're gonna start their journey. I think they're gonna run into some trouble. They're not just gonna get to where the saviors are right away. That wouldn't be very climactic. They're gonna get in some troubles along the way, but they're gonna start their journey towards where the saviors are. That's what I think.
I agree with you to a point, but I have a feeling that they're going to run into a Savior's ambush.
Yeah,
much like Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha did.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're going to be heading in, and it's like, okay, we're going to get close enough, and what's that up ahead? And the one guy from Hilltop and Jesus are going to be like, oh crap, it's the Saviors. And that's going to be the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have a feeling that it's going to be another one of those, hey, you guys need to step on out. All your stuff belongs to Negan now. And somebody's going to come out the back of the RV and be like, nope, no it doesn't. Your stuff, however, belongs to us. Load their motorcycles into the RV. Come on, guys, let's go. Let's find a trailer around here. Let's hook these up, and we can have motorcycles back at.
Oh, Daryl, we get a motorcycle.
Yeah, I also hope that Daryl runs into Dwight.
Yeah, they could run into them in the next episode.
Gets his crossbow back.
Yeah.
Because I really, really, it may not be next episode, but I think the episode we see Dwight next, Daryl's getting his crossbow back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, I do think they're going to start towards Sanctuary. I'm figuring they're going to end up running into either a scout or an ambush party.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to... my prediction is it's going to go way too easy for Rick's group.
Yeah, and then they're going to get a false
and they're going to
sense
get
of
cocky,
confidence.
and
yeah.
then they're going to get to Sanctuary and be like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, for me, I don't know, because we're almost out of time, so I'm going to make this real quick. I think that they're actually going to get to Sanctuary, but I think Negan and a bunch of his other men are going to be off doing something, harassing another group or doing something else. And I think they're going to be able to take out these men really, really easy that are left behind. So they're going to, make a big mark, or at least have Negan take notice.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing this, then they're saying, hey, look, we're here. And I hope, and you talked about it a little bit, Paul, I hope that there's a post-credit scene after where it shows all the dead bodies that Rick and the group killed, and you see somebody walk in, and they just go, damn it, or something like that. And
Or the ever-popular at AMC S-bomb, which we can't say here.
Yeah, the S-bomb. And just, then that's going to be Negan. We're not going to see him, but it's just going to be his legs, and they're going to be hitting to him. So I think...
No. It has to be the legs, the expletive, and then you see the bat, and that's how you know it's Negan.
Yeah. That's how you're going to know it's Negan for people in the comic book, or for people that just watch the show who don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Negan carries a bat wrapped in barbed wire named Lucille, which is why I absolutely loved the whole reference where they have to get it right off the bat.
Yeah, he made sure we knew he meant business right off the bat.
Yeah. Although, was Negan actually, real quick, because we're almost out of time, was Negan actually there at the town? Because it seems like they said a bunch of Negan's men was there, and they've actually never seen Negan.
No, they did say Negan killed one of our 15-year-old.
Yeah.
15-year-old, I think is what it was.
I think it was a 15-year-old. He said Negan...
Are you sure?
Yes,
because he said Negan killed him to prove that he meant business right off the bat.
But it also, because I watched it last night, it sounded like they actually said his men did it. And then that kind of implies what Daryl said about the boogeyman, where the boogeyman ain't S. So my whole thing is, I don't think Hilltop's even seen Negan yet. I think it's his men. I don't think anybody's seen Negan as of right now. And they're going to. I think Rick's going to be probably the first person that sees Negan. So Negan is as much as a mystery to Hilltop and to Rick's group that he is to us right now.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. I suggest you do too. Because I'm going to have to make sure, because I could have sworn that Jesus said Negan showed up with a bunch of his men and he killed a 15-year-old boy from our settlement right in front of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So okay, that's unfortunately all the time we have for today. Tune in next week because we're going to have way more. We're going to be talking about it same time, same place. And you can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/STLDeadAir. That's where I'm going to be posting this up later today. I've been posting all the episodes, so you can actually go back and check to make sure that, hey, these guys' predictions were right about this episode. So
they're not just going, oh, yeah, we predicted that.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Thanks, everybody, so much for tuning in. I had a blast. And we will see you.
Definitely.
We will see all of you next week.